Half Measures. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
getting pretty
yeah.
close.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right, we're live. This is season 2, episode 8, Better Call Saul, and we've got a new person here. You've probably seen her before, but in case you haven't, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Tammy Murray. I make Bigfoot pendants for the Bigfoot world. And most importantly, I'm a co-host on After Hours with Richter. I'm sure you all know Richter Riolo. He's famous. He's famous, so you know him.
And also, you also do another show with him, the Walking Dead cast.
Yes, yeah, we do the Deadcast, and we're all caught up, and we just did the mid-season finale the other night,
Really?
and
I
everybody
should do
dies.
that.
Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Well, I think unlike this one is open to just about everybody. But is the Walking Dead cast open to everybody too, or is it just a certain number of people?
You mean that come into the?
Hangout, yeah.
Yeah, it's just our panel of co-hosts on the Deadcast. And then Richter records it, and we do a live hangout just like this, and then
Mhm.
he adds all the bells and whistles and graphics and pictures of us made
Mhm.
into zombies, and edits out every time that we go. Yeah, he works his magic, makes us all look a lot better than we really are. But we've got
Yes.
a new person now too, and he's got a deep, sexy voice, and really brought a lot to our Deadcast.
Now,
Samuel Glass.
now, how long have you been a Breaking Bad addict?
I just started watching it actually earlier this year. Believe it or not. Yeah, I
Ooh.
didn't. I didn't even start watching the Walking Dead until the third season. Richter got me started on it, but I just started catching. I never saw any of the episodes of Breaking Bad on television,
Mhm.
but I love Bryan Cranston, and I finally got around to watching it. I really don't have a lot of time to dedicate my heart and soul to television shows like I do The Walking Dead, but Breaking Bad is, it's probably, I think Walter White is one of the most complicated characters ever written for television.
Mhm.
And
Most
so
definitely.
it really brought me in. I watched the first episode on my Netflix, and I just went crazy. I don't have time to sit and do binges like I'd like to do and get all caught up, but I'm on season 3 now, last episode, so I will be all caught up with you guys before too long.
All
All
right,
right.
just gonna ask you one question. How do you feel about Walt right now? Have you has your opinion of him changed yet, or are you still do you still see him the same way you did in the pilot?
Uh, in the beginning, I felt sorry for him because he was kind of a nerdy misfit kind of a guy in society. Very smart, highly intelligent, but he was kind of like one of those guys. But he has a pretty decent home life and everything. But things really start going bad for him, so I felt sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him anymore,
Mm.
but I find myself really supportive of all of his really hard ass decisions.
She's watching it right.
Yeah. Yes.
I
One
am
of the same.
totally on his side. Yeah, I want him to cook, and I want him to make money,
Oh, you
and
do want him to
I,
cook, huh?
I want him to cook, I want him to make money, and I want him to survive cancer.
All right.
All right.
I've got to ask you this. Ellen is a big Scholar supporter. Are you a Scholar supporter?
Oh no!
This is
I
Take
gonna
that
be
back.
feel,
this is
She's
gonna
and
be
I
you're
hope
very.
you don't
wrong.
mind. I hope you don't mind me making a lot of Walking Dead references, but I feel the same way about Skylar that I felt about Lori
Lori.
in Walking Dead.
Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Well,
Wrong.
Ellen, this is what you've wanted. An
I know.
anti-Scholar.
I have, to talk to one and just say, you're objectively wrong, but that's okay.
Okay. All right.
There's still a couple seasons to go.
I accept my weaknesses and my strengths.
Yeah. I'm limited. My Skylar fandom group is very limited. And Vince Gilligan has actually said he will never write a less than perfect female character again. Because it's like, it's okay for the men to be nuanced. Some good, some bad in them. But Skylar, she doesn't get away with that blend. But that's another discussion.
We might get into this maybe at the end because I want to hear this. This is going to be good.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, there's a lot more with Skylar in season 3 where she kind of
Yeah, I'm prepared to argue about that.
yeah, she gets nasty. I like her better when she gets nasty. I'll put it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
She can get badass if she wants. She can.
Yeah.
mhm. All right, so let's get into Better Call Saul. This is one of the greatest episodes on season 2, next to Peekaboo. In the beginning, Badger gets arrested, which is great, pulled off fantastic.
On a Better Call Saul bench.
Exactly,
Yep.
on this Better Call Saul bench. Irony right there. Or
Did
maybe a
we
little
see that
foreshadowing.
before? Is this the first time we see the bench?
I think it's the first time we've seen the bench.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Um,
But not the last.
no, not the last. Um, I hate to get off topic a little bit, but hopefully this episode can maybe sit in the groundwork for the actual show Better Call Saul. What do you guys think about that? You think there'd be some continuity problems, or would they be all matched together in the show?
Is it a prequel or is it a continuation? Better Call Saul. I
I
haven't
think
read
it's,
up on
I think
that.
it's both. It's going to be like both. It's going to go past, present, and future,
Mm.
from what I've heard.
So, and when he talks about his name is really McGill,
Hmm.
and he got the Jewish name,
Yeah,
just as sort of a marketing ploy. He'll start out as McGill. He
yeah.
won't be Saul
Yeah, I
when we
caught
see
that. I
him.
caught that.
Yeah.
I didn't caught it before, but until now, I just caught that, the McGill part. And
Yeah.
then once Vince announced that his actual name was Jimmy McGill, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be good.
Yeah. You get the sense he's established, so stuff
Yeah.
has gone on, you know.
Hmm.
So, yeah, he's not new. He's entrenched. But when I look back at Saul, I think of how he got into basically into bed with Jesse and Walt. I always think of it as happening over a couple of episodes, but he just does it all in this episode.
Yeah.
He's introduced and he's entrenched.
He's in full force right now.
He goes all the way in this episode to his role from here on in.
Hmm.
In one episode. And it didn't seem rushed because I always remember it as happening slowly and gradually. Which is pretty good to do in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty sharp dude well, it wasn't too hard to figure out who he was dealing with when Walt started coughing, right?
Hmm.
So, they got him on his knees, and basically he thinks he's going to die, or does he? They're trying to intimidate him. I think he knew from the beginning that these guys were amateurs. He knows what real criminals look like.
Hmm.
Because
He thought he was dealing with real criminals. He
Yeah.
was talking in Spanish to the cartel. I'm always in front of a cartel. The front of the cartel.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Is what he said in Spanish.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really played that well, I think. That actor, by the way, is really amazing because, and I can't think of his name right
Bob
off.
Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has anybody seen Fargo, the series?
Yes.
Haven't yet. I haven't.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. As a matter of fact, I was going to make another comparison to that series. Walter White is one of the most complicated characters ever written for TV, along with Malvo from Fargo, the series. Yeah, another very complicated character. And anyway, so he just completely transformed
Hmm.
for the whole Fargo, North, Middle United States, the accent and everything. And now he's the lawyer, the criminal lawyer, completely has transformed.
Criminal
He's
lawyer.
just
Yeah.
right. And what a great actor he is to be able to morph into this sleazy lawyer character.
Hmm.
And he hadn't watched the show, so he had no context. He just went
Yeah.
in and did his stuff.
He just went
He,
in blind.
yeah,
Hmm.
he didn't watch the
Awesome.
show. Vince Gilligan finally called him out at some point, but yeah, he didn't know the backstory.
That's great.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that was one of the best scenes when he walks in. I think that's when we see him for the first time when he walks in the room with Badger.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And
He walks
talks to that
in.
kid, ask your kindergarten teacher, get a juice box, take a nap.
I think that was one of the most funniest interrogation scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But another fun fact: the cop that arrested Badger is in a news show now on Sci-Fi called Z Nation. It's about zombies. I haven't watched it yet, but
No.
check it out. I think it's. I don't know if it's any good or not, but if check it out if you get the chance.
I don't do zombie shows, but I watched The Walking Dead for some reason. But
There
yeah.
can be only one, and it's The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I think Walking Dead laid the groundwork of rip-offs of zombie shows.
Yeah, yeah, because the show is not really about zombies, and all of the zombie shows that are out are about zombies. So
Hmm.
This is about how people have to change when the world changes.
Hmm.
right.
It's
That's
really.
a lot about what Breaking Bad is about. Look at Walter White. He is a classic example of how to change. Not so much when the world changes. The world was pretty much going on the way it was, but he stepped into a different part of the world that he wasn't familiar with, and boy, did he adapt in a hurry
Hmm.
Mhm.
and took it over.
And for way different reasons, somebody was trying to compare him to Rick. And it's like Rick is in survival mode. He has no room for ego, really. I mean, well, sometimes people get into this leader stuff,
Hmm.
but Rick is really trying to just survive and finding out more and more. People have changed, and you can't be as trusting. Walt is on an ego thing. He
Yeah.
had somebody offer him money for this, a job that he deserved, money he deserved. And his pride said, nope, I'm going to provide for my own family, even if it's cooking meth.
Hmm.
And, by the point that Tammy's at, by the pilot, he's learned that you can't just cook quietly and calmly and peacefully and
Hmm.
sell it. That violence ends up being part of the deal, but it keeps doing it.
Yeah, and
Rick,
especially with this scene with Hank and Walt sitting on the bed. Hank was saying, "Hey, Walt, you don't know what I've been through," and Walt says, "You have no idea what I've been through."
Mm-hmm.
the experiential overlap, and you think Walt is going to tell him something,
Hmm.
that he's going to come clean, but then of course he doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
We
I'm
get
sitting there like, no, don't tell him.
it's too early for Walt to come clean. Really,
Yeah,
it's a little too early for that.
yeah,
well, he never plans to.
Mm-mm.
You know, he just figures at the end he'll leave his family with money, and that'll be that.
Hmm.
yeah. What do you think about old Hank? He's having some issues, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So we picked right up from last week, or 2 weeks ago, where Hank basically was in the fire of a big explosion, and his post-traumatic stress disorder kicked in, and it just look, he's just he's this good at acting because as soon as he walks through those DEA doors, he was all up and excited and laid back and everything, but once he goes home, he's like depressed.
Or
Yeah.
in the elevator on the way upstairs,
Yeah, yeah. Before he got
he's
in.
like losing it. And he is Walt's counterpart. He's got an
Mhm.
ego thing too. This is the macho thing.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of things that Walt is doing and will do are coming from the, you know, I feel emasculated.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show the world I'm a man. You know, Hank is doing the same thing, which is why he has to pull himself together. And they're just on two different sides of the same exact coin.
Mm-hmm.
One's chasing down the meth, you know, producers and distributors, and one is one. But they're both
Yeah.
operating on ego.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I noticed they didn't really play any music in this episode for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed
I
that
was
too.
paying attention to, I always do that, what song they pick for what scene, and it was just the acting. Even in these kind of elongated conversations, there was no music to punctuate that, oh, this is dramatic, or this is like,
Mm-hmm.
uh-oh, or, you know, the actors carried it. And they didn't put a song in there or any music. I think it's Dave Porter music
Yeah.
until the setup when Badger tries to go, well, and finally actually does exchange with Jimmy in and out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought the way they put the music in that, it was almost a Quentin Tarantino style, the way that whole
Yeah.
scene went down with
Mm-hmm.
the music building while this was transpiring, and when Jesse has to come by just at the right time when Walt blocks the DEA guy's view. It was building it kind of like that, and you knew
Mm-hmm.
it could have went so wrong. It could have went all bad in a hurry.
Yeah.
But it was just the timing was very precise, and it all worked out. And
Mm-hmm.
It
that's
almost
why.
added comedic value.
Yes.
It wasn't pure comedy, but yeah, there was, you know, this show is still like a comedy right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a dramedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's growing in intensity. So I just can't even imagine. Uh, there were times watching it when I would watch 2 or 3 episodes in a row, and I'd watch them late at night, and then all night long I'd keep waking up going, man, that is some heavy stuff that's going down with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and it's disturbing. I don't get that so much with The Walking Dead, because it just seems so out of the realm of possibility. But this is something that is happening in our everyday lives all around us. Maybe not in our immediate world, but
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know
meth.
what? It's funny
People are
because
cooking meth
yeah,
and dealing, right in your own city that you live in. Every
Yeah.
city in the United States.
that's funny because Breaking Bad is my number one forever. It always will be. But I do like The Walking Dead. But when I've gone on binges, I almost feel like it is a metaphor for real life. And when life gets hectic and there's all this stuff going on and flying at you, you're like Michonne going, like all tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I like the show too. It picks up right where it left off. Unlike other shows where, like, oh, a guy got shot last week, and then next week the cops is on another investigation, and there's like no mention of last week.
Right.
Oh, did you notice? This is the first time I ever noticed the whole pound of the blue stuff thing. Where that pound came from in the bust, it was part of the plan.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah.
Badger didn't just happen to have that much on him. He didn't have a pound.
Mm-mm.
Jesse and Walt talked about the money and the math.
Yeah.
And given the shortage, there was no way that Badger had a pound. Furthermore, Saul said it was going to cost 80 grand and a pound of their finest meth.
Mm-hmm.
They planted that pound so that Jimmy in and out, they could get the really big bust that they wanted.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't going to get caught with a few teens.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I've probably seen that episode at least 20 times and just put that together.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
significant.
It's subtle if you don't pay attention to detail. And I feel like I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going, oh, they made a mistake. Walt says they're $6,000 short, but later they're gonna, Badger's gonna, well, Jimmy's gonna get busted with a pound. That doesn't add up, and then I
Hmm.
realized Saul asked for the meth to plant it. He concocted like the most ingenious plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if
Yep.
there's ever a lawyer, I would definitely call Saul.
You got Badger singing. His
Hmm.
name's Heisenberg. This is what he looks like. And then Jimmy in and out fits the bill. He looks like that.
Hmm.
For all we know, he shaved his head. And then you've
But
got the setup.
if you notice, Hank didn't really think that Jimmy In and Out was Heisenberg, just by his reaction.
Yeah, he smelled a rat. He was disgusted with the way that whole thing went down. And Jimmy had his hands on
Who
top of
knows
his
him?
head before they pulled up with the DEA vehicles.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. He's like, I can't get there sooner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they used the same DEA vehicles that they used on Badger in the very first teaser of the scene. Did you notice that? They
No.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, they used the flower vehicle in the brown van.
Ah, very good.
Again, that's funny. But, and then in the beginning when he's sitting on the bench, when Badger's on the bench with that undercover cop, Babyface,
Hmm.
um, there's a building in the background that looks like it's something for kids. There's all this like, different color stuff going on and,
Hmm.
you know, and art that looks like, I don't know, a daycare center, something, which is like pretty sleazy.
I gotta
Like,
go check that out now because I was just noticing because I was kind of skimming through the episode a while ago because it's been a few months since I saw that episode. So I
really?
had to
Wow.
go on and read the summary on Wikipedia and then go skim through the episode on my Netflix real quick to get up to snuff. So, because I forget stuff. But now I got to go look at that.
Hmm.
Yeah, if there's something going on with kids there. Got to look at it when they go back again, but it's the same bench, so it must be the same setting.
Hmm.
Yeah, it have to be. I just was noticing in Walt's classroom the artwork in there too. Um, I got to start looking at, once you watch the episodes and then you go back and watch them and you look at the details surrounding.
Hmm.
I don't know if the Breaking Bad people put in, little hidden things all over the place, like The Walking Dead, the Easter eggs, they call them.
There'll be some Easter eggs, at least one that I can think of I can't talk about.
Okay. It's a secret?
Oh, yeah. You have to wait. Can't tell you.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
One thing I noticed was a formula written on Walt's chalkboard. Do you think that's any connection right there to a little foreshadowing or any
Ooh.
particular thing in that scene?
Well, I can't remember what it looked like. What was
I
it?
don't.
I can't tell you right off, but I just noticed that.
Oh, so it is foreshadowing?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta go back and see if I can't try and figure out the formula.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Well, I
trying to
don't want to
protect me.
even. I don't even want to hypothesize because I can't do that without referencing future events. So, although I'm gonna get up to the end of season 3, which is where she's at. Oh, she maybe it has something to do with the end of season 2.
I might.
What was the last episode of season 2?
The crash, right?
Plane crash, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Huh,
Maybe it has
okay.
something to do with that.
Okay, we obviously have some reviewing to do, right, Shane?
Yeah.
It was a pure butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I pointed this out in an earlier episode of the season 2 is that they labeled the a certain title 747 over down ABQ and all that. You put it
Yeah,
all
over.
together.
Ah,
747 down over ABQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
That was the only season where they knew how they were structuring it from beginning to end. So
Mhm.
they knew in the beginning this is exactly where we're going. So that's those foreshadowing scenes are only in those episodes with those titles that are
Yeah.
relevant. But other seasons, they just sort of went along as they went along.
Mhm.
Season 5 is just, without spoiling, epic in the sense that they set themselves up in the beginning when they're not sure where they're going.
Mhm.
And they end up pulling it off beautifully, and I can't wait till you get there.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get busy. One little interesting side note. I guess he hasn't been introduced yet. The character that plays Jane's father, John Delancey.
Mm. Is that his
Um,
name?
He hasn't been introduced yet. I think it's going to be
yeah,
the next episode.
yeah.
Or
Well,
maybe the
actually,
one
No,
after
no,
that.
no. Jane's father?
Jane's dad. Yeah.
Okay.
yes, is John Delancey, whom I've met.
Ooh.
And this was back in the 80s. I want to say around 87, 88, somewhere around there. At, of all things, a Star Trek convention because he played Q in Star Trek Next Generation.
Well,
And
I know him from Days of Our Lives back in the
right,
day.
Eugene.
I've never heard of
Yes.
that.
Well, how old are you?
21.
Oh, dude. All right, so you weren't born yet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've
No.
heard of Star Trek. I've never seen it.
Yeah, well, I was at a Star Trek convention and I met him and George Takei and oh, there were some other people there. I can't remember, but very nice man and very tall and handsome. Just he was really a nice guy, and he had a lovely handshake.
Well, speaking of Jane's dad, let's get into more of the storyline between Jesse and Jane. Jane
Yeah.
basically told Jesse that she's 18 months clean.
And he feels
Yeah.
like an idiot when she walks
Yeah.
out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's always feeling guilty, that guy.
That's messed up, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, because he is far from clean.
Yeah, at this point. But remember how that last episode ended? Shani, you were saying that it shouldn't have ended with them holding hands at the TV.
Yeah.
Should have ended with the explosion, blah, blah, blah. But when you get back to them in this episode, one of the chairs was on the floor, which I thought was interesting.
Hmm.
Then, of course, you see where they end up, and, they need a bed, and blah, blah, blah. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when he blows it by. Smoking a joint.
Hmm.
I mean, he's still a little naive. So, it's kind of an honest mistake.
Yeah.
But, you don't expect that everybody walking around has got a chip in their pocket.
Hmm.
But he really, really felt like an idiot. But, she didn't punish him for it in this episode.
No.
She was back.
And we got a little bit of Skylar this episode. What did you think about Skylar?
What
Dressing
was
up all
going on?
fancy, going to work.
Oh, I was thinking more about Walt's reaction in that scene
Hmm.
because it was more like he wasn't thrilled that his wife looked good. He was more upset that she looked good
Hmm.
because there apparently is a history between Ted and Skylar besides him just flirting with her.
Yeah.
Because at some point she's got a picture of the two of them like out to dinner or something.
Hmm.
So I think he feels a little threatened. But I don't begrudge a woman for dressing nice, just because her husband's not there. I don't put on a burlap sack if I'm, if I, you know what I mean. It's like I was more interested in his reaction. I mean,
Yeah.
because plus she's pregnant, so she's really trying not to look like a.
Yeah, she carried off the pregnant look very well, though. She's a pretty lady.
Hmm.
Well, they used Betsy Brandt's actual belly sometimes. Because
Yeah.
Betsy
Did they?
Brandt is in season 2, I believe, pregnant. Well, we were in season 2. And you can see how they try to hide it all the time. And they actually used her belly in a scene, or maybe more than one scene.
Yeah, they used her belly in the close-up shots
Yeah,
of
that
Skylar.
must be it.
So you guys are more into all of the behind-the-scenes stuff than me because I wasn't privy to that because I'm catching up on Netflix.
Right, because we've
So
watched the episodes, and now it's like,
yeah.
now we're jonesing, and so we have to have information about it.
Yeah, I like anything that's trivial, fun facts for me. I think that's
Yeah,
great. You know,
I love it.
like that fun fact about the guy going to do Z Nation. You know, that's
Yep.
fun facts. I like all that.
He was also on Big Bang Theory. Side note, on an episode.
Um,
But I don't think that Skylar is trying to do anything in that scene. I think if they were gonna allude to her trying to impress Ted at that point, we'd see some of that. Skylar does try to look her best at this point.
but do you think
that
she's doing it to provoke Walt a little bit too?
I don't really think so. I think it was more to see Walt's reaction, his insecurity.
because
She
she
was.
knows Walt's hiding stuff by this time.
Hmm.
She doesn't
Oh,
know
is there?
what's going on, so she is testing the water there, maybe.
Hmm.
But she's still being sweet. She wasn't like, I don't know if I can say what I'm gonna say
Like
because
how
it's like,
things get later.
yeah, and I don't know how it's shooting later. I'm gonna just be careful about that. But yeah, there really wasn't much Skylar in there.
Hmm.
But one thing I noticed just in a brief scene between Walt and Marie, that I just think Betsy Brandt is just one of the greatest actresses. She just does this kind of thing so great. She's convincing. She's real. You buy her.
Hmm.
And I just think that she and Cranston probably had a great time working together. Actually, we've seen some outtakes where they really have.
Yeah.
But she's just like, I don't know, like she's on speed all the time, and she's funny without meaning to be, and she pulls the character off really well. She just, these actors can just have conversations,
Hmm.
and they can have pauses, and they can have ums, and they can talk over each other like normal people talk, and it's not like a lot of TV shows where, okay, your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn. Everybody's so methodical about it that,
Hmm.
this is why they don't need music sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tone is already set. It's really cool. Oh, and this is when Saul says to Walt that the conscience gets expensive.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's going to mean more in the future. Yeah, and Walt finds out a lot of disturbing things. This is the first time he's found out that the DEA is looking for him.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Also
he didn't
find
have a clue, did he, of what was going on behind the scenes there.
no, his name is out,
Hmm.
his Heisenberg name.
Mhm.
He learned that people know that the ATM machine was not Jesse.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
blowfish deflates.
And I also like how he referred to Scrooge as a former client. I think that was great.
Wait a minute, who did? Oh my, that's right.
Yeah.
A former client. It was Spooge. Oh, that's too funny. Oh my god, one of the sleaziest clients. And he's got the masturbator, and he. But one thing that was really funny was that when Walt, as Mr. Mayhew, tries to offer him more money,
Hmm.
not to have Badger not talk to the DEA, Walt refused. And Walt's in the car with Jesse, and Jesse's like, "Wait, that guy refused a
Yeah.
bribe? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, he has ethics.
I think he,
And I like how he referred to that bribe as the offer was a little low.
Yeah.
I think he's protecting himself.
Yeah.
I think he's being careful. I think he'd be happy to take a bribe if it weren't too risky.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. I
But
think that he has a good sense of the magnitude of the situation with this meth and being involved with this somebody that can make a product that of the quality that it is, and look at it's a catalyst. This product is a catalyst for so many things, like you said, the violence and everything. He knows that this is some serious shit.
yet he's willing to
Oh,
jump
are you gonna
in.
wake me? Oh.
No, that's okay.
But he sees it as a golden opportunity. These guys have got, a gun to his head or two guns to him, whatever that scene happened, on his knees. He goes from that to, wow, the DEA's interested, and this must be some good meth or something. And when he finally realizes it's these two and that's what's going on, he wants a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having the DEA involved like they are tells him the seriousness of this. They don't just go after nickel and dime dealers. This is the real deal. So this is kicking it up a notch, and that's why Saul uses the comparison to the Godfather characters, Corleone.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is jumping into the big time.
I can't believe Walt watched Scarface, but he didn't watch The Godfather.
I noticed something in this episode that Walt's expressions sort of resembles like Robert De Niro.
Really?
Yeah,
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
I'd need examples.
Okay. When he was in the car, Jesse flipped the coin. Jesse said heads, but it's actually tails, and he does that reaction, and it sort of resembles like Robert De Niro.
All right, you're going to have to post some side-by-side pictures on your Facebook timeline, dude.
Let me check it out. All right.
Yeah, and the coin flip again. I love how Jesse and Walt, there's still this comedic innocence to them, even though so much has gotten real. Flipping a coin to see who's going to be the one who shows their face to Saul.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Walt was probably happy that he went in as Mr. Mayhew, because he learned a lot in that conversation.
Yeah.
Really important stuff. But yeah, it's funny that this episode will be the title of his show. And at one point I was thinking, better kidnap Saul. What else are you going to do? This guy's going to let Badger name Heisenberg, and it turned out, go ahead, name Heisenberg. Give him a vague description of him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the series Better Call Saul goes, because since it's going to be from the different point of view, it's not going to be in just this heavy-duty world of cooking meth with Walter White. It's going to be all of the things. I mean, this is my prediction, or my assumption, I guess. It's going to be the point of view of Saul and all of the various types of characters that he's involved with, and his evolution maybe to get to the point where he was with Walter White.
We get to see already in the previews how he met Mike. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the previews.
Oh my god, you gotta watch it. It's great.
There's a preview with Jonathan. Oh wait. Oh yeah, she's met. Yeah. Okay, she knows Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Mike is at very least. I don't know what he's done by the end of season 3, but he's the one who comes over when Jane dies.
Mm-hmm.
And says, cleans up.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat after me. Woke up.
Him.
We've also got a Mike mention tonight at the end where Saul said, "My PI investigated you."
Oh,
Sounds like.
yes, yes. And he charged me for 3 hours, so I doubt it took him more than one. Yeah, that was Mike. That's what he does.
Hmm.
Well, one of his things. But he finds people. And Saul gives a really compelling argument, you know. First of all, people shouldn't be able to track you down. Second of all, you need to protect your money. And
Yeah.
you need me. And he really has him against the wall. I mean, what's Walt gonna do? Say, no, I want a different lawyer, Saul? I think Walt at this point, and he sees that the guy's kind of smart, is going to be obligated to
Hmm.
use him, and that and that's that. And ballsy, show up at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you really are a chemistry teacher, okay?
And he's grading papers with the big
Mhm.
red marker.
Yeah, a 40.
Not even close.
So I think that was pretty much the most important stuff in this episode. Next episode is 4 Days Out, and we'll be Tammy, if you can, join us next week as we talk about 4 Days Out.
I forgot that came on afterwards, and when it did, I was like, yes, I love this. Let me watch it again. That's one of the best. You
Yeah,
know
no,
which one that is, Tammy, when they get stuck?
Yeah, that's when they get stuck out in the desert for 4 days.
wow.
You
Yeah.
remember that? Oh, that was
Yes,
epic.
it's all coming back. Yeah. Well, if I can make it, I will. We were talking about doing some pre-Christmas partying next week, but we'll have to see. There's a lot of stuff going on in our little town around Christmas, so and it usually involves partying.
Just another excuse to party.
As
Yes.
long as it's not a Walter White Christmas, it'll be fine.
Mm.
Reminds me, I'm still working on a short story about Walter White Christmas, or maybe it was sort of a joke screenplay. I forgot about that. So get back to that.
Yeah, I was hoping there was been a Breaking Bad Christmas special. I think that would have been great.
I'm writing one, and I'm not a Christmas person. I just thought that this was kind of funny, so I'm
Even
still
if it
working
was
it.
one of those shorts that they did on YouTube.
Well,
They
we
could
do
have.
it. We do at least get to see Walt being Santa Claus.
That was just
That's
in a
up.
picture. That was just
And
in a
if,
picture.
well, good enough.
All right,
Does,
so we
do
got
you
some
guys
time
love
left.
do you guys love Bryan Cranston as much as I do?
Oh
Oh
man, I
yeah.
He
love
is
it. Yeah.
incredible.
My daughter used to have him on, as in Malcolm in the Middle, and I used to be like, oh, I still can't watch that show. It's just not my kind of show. I couldn't stand it, and then I end up watching Breaking Bad, and I'm like, that's the same actor you were watching, but now I love him, but
You
for
know what was
way different
wrong with
reasons.
it? You know what was wrong with Malcolm in the Middle? Not enough Bryan Cranston. Too much of the damn kids.
Exactly. Well, well, we could say that Malcolm in the Middle is a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Well, no wonder he started cooking meth, right?
Yeah, especially the wife. Oh my God, Lois. Jeez, I would cook meth just to get away from her.
Oh,
Skylar looking any
that's
better?
harsh.
But if you want to see something real funny, look up Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle, and they did a little short exclusively for the DVD. I
Is
think
it
Ellen,
is it spoilery?
um, it's a reprised role. It has the chick that plays Lois and Bryan Cranston in it, and they're in the bed, and it's like the Bob Newhart
Bob
show.
Newhart.
Yeah. We've got a little time left. I gotta hear you guys' opinion on Skylar.
Okay, what do you want to hear?
All right, tell me, what do you think of her? Why do you hate her? I
I
think that's the
don't
main question.
I don't hate her. I just you know, when she found out, okay, spoiler, when she found out what was going on and she had absolutely no understanding of the situation. I was done with her. She drew the line before she found out, because she didn't, he wasn't forthcoming with her about everything that was going on with him. He hid so much from her. When she finds out, she stays that way, basically. She stays, I mean, he totally comes clean with her. And she still drew that line, and that kind of pissed me off. I felt like if she really loved him, there would have been a little more compassion. So it was like you said about Walter White. It's ego. She's the other huge ego in this television show. With Walter being number one. The only one that really doesn't have an ego, I think, is Jesse.
Well, yeah,
Amazingly enough, he is so all over the place that
he has his struggles with it too. I mean, he was
But-
psyched last week to be a blowfish,
yeah.
even though it was the worst compliment
True.
ever.
Mhm.
But now, see, I think what's going on with Walt and Skylar is we don't get. They try to make up for this a little at some point, but the damage is done. We don't see as much of what Walt's and Skylar's relationship is. And I think by this point, she's just getting dressed in the morning and leaving and just going out.
Mhm.
And when she says that, it's like, what? Mom's always home. We always know where Mom is,
Right.
She cooks us everything. She does this, she does that. And, we can go out, but Mom can't go out. And to me, it was that it seems like they were always honest with each other. And there was nothing that they really couldn't talk about. This is probably the first time that Walt has something so bad going on in his life that he knows he can't tell her. And when he does come clean, it's only after she's like, out of here. You're out of here. We're getting divorced.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't make her feel any better that he told her the truth. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
think he came clean too late?
I don't think
Should he come clean earlier or not come clean at all?
he wasn't going to get that. He's not ever going to convince Skylar that this is okay. Ever. So, because it's just not. So there is no good time. She's not going to accept that. She's not going to say, oh, I understand, honey, why your ego needed you to cook meth to make your own money for your own family instead of taking it from Gretchen and Elliot, who wouldn't even miss it, and it's apparent that they owe you. And, there is that conversation like, charity, why do you think charity is such a dirty word? Why is it, I don't think she'd be okay with that. I think what's most important to her is the family and the quality time spent together. And he's off all the time. He's gone, and he's got secrets and the second cell phone, and I think she got tired of that. And when she leaves, she leaves to leave him to pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going ahead here, am I? No, because I'm not. She knows this much.
Yeah, right.
She goes down the list of everything she's found out. The lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies. And, I mean, I just look at it as if I were her. Would I accept this from my partner? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Months and months and months, and it's got to be bad. She knows that already, and when she finds out, she's practically physically sick.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I got to get out of here. I'm gonna puke.
Yeah. And I can relate to that, because when you get in a point in a relationship where and I'm not referring to my current relationship. If anybody's watching, I'm referring to my previous marriage, which was over 17 years ago. But when you get to a point and that marriage lasted 4 years, when you get to a point in that time where in your mind the relationship is over. The relationship's over in your mind, and you've made up your mind. You cannot turn the corner and go back from that point. Once you get to that point, it's almost like a resolution stage or something in your mind that you've resolved that you're going to go on in a different way. And I think that's where Skylar's at. She has already in her mind gone beyond the relationship. What do you think about that? Does that sound...
I think she feels like she lost the marriage she had.
Right.
And
Yeah.
again, they did not give us enough of that. You know, when she's asking questions, where were you, and this and that, it was not that she was suddenly changing and being, it was that he was suddenly changing and she was reacting to it. Even Junior, what the hell is wrong with you? He was just not being himself, and it takes me a while. I'm still sympathizing with him to a point. I'm sympathizing with both. I really like Skylar at this point, and I'm down. I mean, I'm with her. As a former wife and a mother, I totally get her. At the same time, I don't want Walt to get in any trouble, and I want bad things to happen. Every time he says he's done, I'm feeling relieved. I'd like him to be done, but I'm still sympathizing with him. So I'm seeing both of their point of view for now.
Yeah, I want him to be done, but after he has cooked plenty of meth and sold it so he has a huge amount of money stashed to live on and, not have any worries. I want him to get past that point without getting into trouble.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Well, you've got 2 more seasons left. I don't know if you might get that wish or not.
Well, that's kind of like Malvo. Why do I like Malvo? Why do I like that guy?
I know you did not want... Well, I didn't want Martin Freeman's character to get into trouble there. I wanted him to get away with all this stuff he was doing.
Lester?
Yeah, Lester. Lester Nygaard.
Yeah. That was awesome. And and Mike in Breaking Bad. I don't understand why I like him.
Yeah.
But one of these days I'm going to have a comparison between him and Walt, because both of them have done some pretty nasty things to human beings, but they are very, very different people. And I'm gonna do a comparison chat. But somehow Mike is still likable no matter what he does.
Yeah, because he does, even though the things that he does sometimes are bad and awful, they're usually the right thing to do.
Or necessary, considering the world he's decided to put himself in, the job he's decided to do. So.
Yeah. I hope I'm not spoiling anything away, but I do see the comparison between Mike and his granddaughter with Walt and his family.
Oh, I think it's different.
You've ruined it for me, Shane. Just kidding.
Oh, no, there is... All right, well, yeah. Trying to provide.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but, yeah. Mike excels in that one, too. If they did one of those, epic raps of history things, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
You've seen the one, it's Walter White versus Rick Grimes. Have you seen this, Tammy?
No.
Oh, my God. You'd love it. Just Google Rick Grimes, Walter White rap. You'll love it. But if Mike and Walt were to do one, Mike wins. Mike's a better person.
Well, answer this. Is there any on YouTube, is there any bad lip reading uh, videos made on Breaking Bad, like there is on The Twilight and Walking Dead, the Twilight movies and Walking Dead? It's called bad lip reading.
Oh, I've
Have you
never
seen
seen
those?
anything like that.
I'm
It's
not sure about
hilarious. It's hilarious.
Oh my God, I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
I gotta go look now. They just,
that.
Especially in The Walking Dead, because they're always like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, no Walking Dead tomorrow. I have nothing to watch.
I know. I have no reason to live until February.
No, I have Homeland, and
Yeah, I have Breaking Bad still, so
you
yeah.
have Breaking
Yep.
Bad. I envy you. And I have some American Horror Story, and I've been watching Grace Point, and that's got one more episode. That's a crime show, and Anna Gunn's in it. She's a cop.
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm just holding out for Better Call Saul.
Grace Point is actually pretty good. It hasn't bored me, so worth trying. She's not Skylar. She's somebody else. But she's still a husband and a mother, so we'll see.
Mm.
But anyway, thanks again, Shane.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I
Oh,
really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. It was fun.
It's fantastic getting a person that hasn't seen all the episodes yet on.
It's
A
scary. I'm
noob.
afraid of saying bad things, but
Exactly.
I hope
But
you come back.
yeah,
Yes,
we're going to
yeah.
do one next week, and then we're going to be off after that, the 20th,
For the holidays.
for the holidays. Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope I get to join you next week. If not, then I'll catch you on, after your hiatus.
All right. Yeah, it's been real fun. We'll see you here next week with episode 9, 4 days out. And I
Isn't it
like
called
this one.
Robots?
The robot. Yeah, I like that one too. I like that one. I think season 2 maybe be the strongest season out of the whole 5, maybe.
5's up there too, but yeah.
Yeah, I think from a standpoint that hasn't seen 3, 4, or 5 yet, but I've seen them all. So
Well, 4's epic also, so
yeah,
they're
4
all
is
good.
epic.
They're all good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Good night,
Have a good night,
everybody.
you guys.